Hi, I'm Wayne Cassio. In a recent international study by the SHRM Foundation, more than 500 C-suite executives were asked to identify the top human capital challenges that could derail their firm's ability to achieve key strategic business objectives in the next 3 to 5 years. Fully 75% of executives from companies both large and small identified succession planning as their #1 challenge, followed closely by the need to develop a pipeline of leaders at all levels. They also told us that they would like to learn from companies that do these things well. So this year, the SHRM Foundation traveled to St. Paul, Minnesota to speak with 3M, a company consistently recognized as one of the world's most innovative and admired companies, as well as one of the best companies for leaders and for developing leaders. Just how does 3M achieve such effective succession planning and leadership development? Originally founded in 1902, 3M comprises more than 35 business units organized into 6 market-leading businesses: consumer and office, display and graphics, electro and communications, healthcare, industrial and transportation, safety, security, and protection services. With 2007 worldwide sales of $24.5 billion, 63% of which come from outside the U.S., 3M sells products in more than 200 countries. It employs more than 76,000 people worldwide, including 7,000 researchers, and it has been awarded 569 U.S. patents. In 2007, it spent almost 6% of its gross revenues on research and development.
Leadership is a little bit like driving the same car at a different racetrack. So it really doesn't matter if you're in the healthcare business or if you're in the industrial business. Largely speaking, the rules apply in both of those cases, and really right across. Fundamentals still work. You know, the fundamentals work in science, the fundamentals work in business, the fundamentals work in leadership and in management.
At 3M, a common set of leadership attributes links all management practices in assessment, development, succession, and compensation. Think from outside in. Create and execute strategy based on a deep understanding of customers and competitors. Drive innovation and growth. Set stretch goals to identify new approaches to markets and customers. Develop, teach, and engage others. Inspire them to stretch, take risks, and develop their skills fully. Make courageous decisions while holding yourself and others accountable for them. Lead with energy, passion, and urgency. Contribute to an environment where teams can respond quickly to change and are motivated to succeed. Live 3M values. Never compromise honesty, integrity, or professional ethics. Always encourage inclusive behaviors. 3M's leadership attributes underlie assessment, development, and succession. They describe what leaders need to know, what they need to do, and what kind of people they need to be.
3M has several legs of their leadership development. We have the formal training that goes on through the Leadership Development Center. We have the training through experience, so people have different experiences as they grow their career.
We are able to offer a lot of different opportunities to employees throughout their career.
You know, we participate in health markets, consumer and office, display and graphics, industrial. Moving from one of those markets to another is just like moving from one company to another.
3M's award-winning approach to leadership development has the following characteristics: leaders teaching leaders, focus on business needs, build relationships with the executives, incorporate business critical content, use action learning, develop customized training.
We have over 300 leaders teaching in our programs every year. And you know, when you take and add up the number of hours and where these people are all over the world teaching for us, it would probably take about 70 more people on our staff every year to fulfill what they're doing worldwide for us. And you know, the executives love this piece. You start hearing their compassion, their passion for the business. You pick up where their values are, the integrity and the ethics of the people, of how they want to build and make 3M a better place to work.
I have a philosophy that our business will grow at the speed that we grow our leaders. First of all, I set aside my time with the customers, so I blocked that time as a first priority. Then my second priority really is people development and leadership. Everything else can wait, frankly speaking. So by spending more of my time intentionally on people issue and leadership issue, I not only show people that I really care about leadership, but I get to know a lot of people through that process.
You have to try to train people how to think. You have to try to get them to imagine, how to see forward, how to think their way through circumstances which are unusual and different, and that's what separates, I think, really great companies from average companies.
Yeah, George, he spends quite a bit of time on this. We take 2 hours out of every one of our monthly operating committee meetings just to talk about succession planning and development against our director and vice president level positions within the company.
What I'm trying to do is to test people with logic.
He meets with every business leader and every staff leader twice a year to do an in-depth discussion about high potential talent in their organization. He's actively engaged with us in our leadership development programs for our high potential employees. So he sets the tone by his personal engagement.
I think coaching is a central part of any leader's role, and it's coaching the people in their organization, it's coaching their colleagues and their peers, and it's also doing upward coaching. Upward coaching is, to me, providing feedback and brainstorming about improvement opportunities with people in the organization who may be at higher levels than what you are.
When we do this type of face-to-face meeting, you provide your coaching and your assessment to the employee, but you have to be able to listen from the employee. And you have to be able to ask to the employee, what should I do in a different way in order to allow you to improve, and how can you help me to become a better manager? You must have enough self-confidence to accept to be challenged by your direct report. If you don't do these type of things, I think that you are missing some of the key points as a leader.
All of our action learning projects are business driven. They're our strategic opportunities. They are all real types of opportunities for 3M that we want to work on.
We tend to create small projects and put 1 or 2 people in that project and ask them to have all the freedom they need, all the authority they need to go out and find new markets, find new solutions.
They last about 10 days. People work on them, from 7 in the morning until 10 at night. And then at the end of these projects, we do presentations. We do a presentation to George and his operating team where they defend their findings.
People have to get familiar and comfortable with taking risk, with the idea of imagining something and then driving it to conclusion. And having once got there, been successful at that, there's that old adage that success breeds confidence and confidence breeds competence.
What we are trying to do is to push innovation across all of the activities. Innovation is not just about new product. Innovation is about the business model, is about marketing, it's about human resources, for example. We are always working with our colleagues from HR in order to see what we could be doing in a different way. And because it is so much in our DNA.
Innovation does not happen by imposing on our people that you have to innovate something. It has to be a way of life in everybody's work hours. So nurturing the environment that innovation can take place automatically is really the key piece of innovation process. You have managers and supervisors who do not allow the bubble up process of ideas, and if ideas get killed in that bubble up process, you do not have a lot of innovative ideas. So you show the people that some of their mistakes are tolerated. They will not bring up good ideas.
But you have to try to create that kind of environment where people can be themselves. I am a big believer in people being themselves. When you're trying to create really creative organizations, you have to let them have a little bit more rope, let them be themselves, let them express their opinions.
3Mers love to tell these stories about how, we created this project after being told 52 times no, and we went through a skunk works here, and look at what we did. Well, if you step back from that, is some phenomenal leadership going on. People figuring out how to go around an obstacle, how to make it happen anyway, how to drop the price when supposedly it's not possible, how to figure out the next chemical formula when it's supposedly not possible. And deadlines often help that.
3M has established a high-performance culture that respects the dignity and worth of all individuals, encourages initiative, challenges individual capabilities, and provides equal opportunity for development.
Being very inclusive in whatever they're doing in the business, they want to be part of it. They want to come in every day and know how what I do every day contributes to the direction of the business. What am I doing? How do I make a difference?
The development of leaders is something that's not an event, but a process, and a daily process.
3M has built seamless leadership processes in assessment, development, and succession around its core leadership attributes.
Because of what George has done, we've really been able to step up the game, if you will, in terms of assessing people and moving them and more tightly integrating it to both development and succession planning. And that really changes the environment. It's one thing to have high standards, it's one thing to have programs, but when you see the modeling at the very top of someone who spends a lot of his own time teaching classes and willing to talk to people about how to do it better or how to think through a problem, it really changes the environment of a place.
So it sounds like he's really leading by example.
Exactly.
I think the business strategy plays the central role. Without the strategic direction and understanding the strategic direction, it's hard to do succession planning.
And to have a meaningful and robust succession planning process, it's best to try to focus on the most critical jobs. Otherwise, you kind of dilute the process. You spend a long time talking about jobs that aren't as critical to the organization.
Human capital planning has 5 key objectives. Align available knowledge, skills, and abilities with the strategy of the business. Identify talent and development needs early, and also build depth in the organization. Leverage talent across businesses. Drive diversity as a business value. Balance internal development and outside hiring.
So at the very same time that our businesses are going through their strategic planning process, they are also going through their human capital planning process, and to make sure that they have the people in place to execute on their strategic plans. One thing that we've got nailed down and we have for years is executive sponsorship of these processes. From the very top, they're supported, and that makes them move very smoothly. All countries, all businesses will participate in putting together a human capital plan. We can look at all workforce categories, look at the needs over the next 5 years and how those align to the strategic direction of this company.
The objectives of the succession planning process can be stated concisely. To identify top talent, that is, high potential individuals, both within functions and corporate-wide. To develop pools of talent for critical positions and development plans for key leaders. 3M's Executive Resources Committee assures consistency both in policy and practice in global succession planning for key management and executive positions, including the process for identifying, developing, and tracking the progress of high potential individuals.
Another barrier is also if management does not have commitments in terms of time, in terms of the efforts they need to put into this, and saying, well, you know, I have other goals to attain, targets on the business side. I don't really have time for my employees. Those are huge derailers in any organization.
With the kind of diversity we have at 3M, there's no recipe, there's no sort of natural predefined set of roles they're going to go through. But we have commonalities across many businesses, whether those be marketing leadership roles or technical leadership roles. And because we have the benefit of being able to move people across different businesses, we can identify the types of roles without talking about specific roles and still make sure that people are developing in that direction.
If a manager doesn't get specific, the employee will start driving those conversations too. People are not going to be just sitting there waiting for their future to be painted for them. They want to be engaged, they want to be driving their own future.
It happens somewhat insidiously. Sometimes you don't even know that something like that happens. We do a lot of cross-functional type projects. So put people in a cross-functional project, meaning that they get to talk to a lot of different leaders other than their own supervisors and managers. So over time, they get to know a lot of managers and leaders, and our leaders also get to know certain individuals through those cross-functional type projects. It is something like trying to hide nails in your pocket. You can do it for quite some time, but eventually it will pop out.
Very often I am having breakfast or lunch with new employees. And we always share with them the fact that if they want to succeed in 3M, they have to move outside of their comfort zone. And we are telling them that they should have job rotation. So we are pushing our employees to move from one division to another division to avoid this silo approach.
Well, there are two things we can work on. They all go back to certainly automating the process. One, to make sure that we have a sound database which you can use to do a search, right? And then secondly, to also allow management to do a little bit of self-service where they can look up the information themselves instead of having to rely on HR having to provide all the information for them.
I think you're starting to see things like leadership brand, employment brand, engagement, all starting to come together. And the more that we can make that seamless in how we run the company, I think it'll be an even more exciting place and we'll do even better in the market.
In the end, it's part of the legacy that a CEO hands on to the next generation. So he clearly wants to try to create something that can continue, because you don't want to be in a position where a superbly performing company suddenly, because it has a poor transition, ends up in a bad place. It's clearly in our best interests for all sorts of different reasons, for legacy reasons, for financial reasons, just for doing what's right reasons, that you want to try to encourage people to develop great succession. And I think that there's nothing, at least to me, more fulfilling than to see somebody that's come along through the ranks that was, in a sense, raw material, and turning into a great leader all ready to take over a great company like 3M. If you can leave behind this kind of legacy of great leadership, of great management, it's the culmination of a career, not only to have done well in a company, but to leave the company in better hands, in better shape than it was when you took it over.
I've always believed passionately that in any of the roles, whether it's a technical area in the laboratory, a sales area, marketing organization, that it really is about the people and using the skills and talents and abilities of our people, aligning those to our business direction. And when we make those connections and people understand the direction of the business, wonderful things happen.
When you see competitors sort of lined up against one another, most of them can spend the same amount of money on capital, or on R&D, or on marketing, or on distribution. But the thing that separates the best from the rest are the people you hire and how you lead and motivate them.
Here are 5 lessons that any company can learn about leadership development and succession planning. The CEO must drive the talent agenda. It all begins with commitment from the top. Identify and communicate a common set of leadership attributes to serve as a roadmap for all leaders and followers. This promotes a common set of expectations for everyone in the organization about what is expected of leaders. Use candid, comprehensive performance reviews as the building blocks for assessment, development, and management consensus about performance and potential. Keep to a regular schedule for performance reviews, broader talent reviews outside one's functional area, and the identification of talent pools for critical positions. Link all decisions about talent to the strategy of the organization. In the future, your ongoing challenge will be to link every decision about talent, its assessment, development, and place in leadership succession to business strategy. Where will your organization be in 3 to 5 years, and what kinds of talent will you need to be successful? When legendary hockey player Wayne Gretzky was asked what made him so great, he had a simple answer. I don't skate to where the puck is, I skate to where the puck is going to be. Your task is to figure out where the puck is going to be in your business, and then take steps now to be sure that you have the talent to get you there.